will be later. I'm just so excited. I feel like a Cinderella in the ball. And Carl, I just feel so badly. I don't want to start without Jonathan being there, because today is Jonathan's day too. Where are you, my darling? Still 2 minutes. He's still putting out fires. You know what it's like when you launch a new website and it's very exciting.
There's always a surprise.
Always. And this is what's exciting about it. So it's a good learning experience. How old were you when you started your first business?
Me, Julie?
Yes.
13. I was 13 years old when I started my first business.
What was it?
It was selling at the flea market, selling cosmetics. And when I was 15, I opened up an income tax office. And then slowly, when you're so young, you think you know everything. So I thought I knew everything. So one thing led to another.
I love it. Let me see if I can mute everybody. If you have your phone next to you or whatever, if you would do me a favor and, okay, I'm going to mute all, then I'm going to unmute you, Carlos. So hold 1 second, because I have to do everybody or nothing. And then I'm going to, ask you to unmute. Now you unmute yourself, Carlos. Got it? I cannot hear you. Can you unmute yourself?
Unmute. There we go.
There, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So
we're waiting for Jonathan, yes?
We are waiting for Jonathan, and he should be, oh, there he is.
Hello.
He just got on. Hi, Jonathan.
Hello, Carlos. Good to see you.
Hola, Jonathan. Nice to see you.
How are you doing?
Very well. Excited for you. Congratulations on your launch.
Thank you so much. It was a very fun launch. We got to have a nice webinar earlier today, and now the real fun starts.
Yes.
Definitely.
Good.
That's when we hear about the great stories.
It's only going to get better.
Absolutely. It's like you, Carlos, with Box Glam. It's you send out the merchandise, but then to hear the success that the women and the men are having with the product that how much they can sell it, and what world it's open for them. And those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, you have to download Carlos Marquez's app, and also Adelante con Carlos, and go to boxedglam.com, because you will be surprised how with very little money you can be in business today. So Jonathan.
Yes.
How have you survived the day so far?
We have survived the day so far.
I'm glad everybody's being nice to you.
Mm-hmm.
I am glad. Okay, super. Carlos, I am going to turn this over to you, and just kind of pick your brain. If you have a group of people that are ready to go, that have really found, look, we have 112 already and coming, okay? And this will only get bigger. But these are people that are going to go back to work or back to school after these classes, and their lives will have changed because they found a new way. And what I want you to do is just from your heart, you have one shot at them. What would you like to share with them?
Well, the entrepreneurship and the whole investment aspect, it goes so hand in hand. And I think, Julie, thank you for allowing me to be here. I really appreciate the time and the space to get to know the whole entire group. 40 lessons is a huge commitment, and congratulations to every single one of you. And these 40 lessons can be worth millions and millions of dollars if you actually put into practice, what you've learned. And what I love about what we do together, you're on the investment side, I'm on the entrepreneur side, is it goes hand in hand, because you have to have the knowledge. People always ask me, what do you think I should sell? Well, I can tell you what to sell, but will it sell in your hands? Because you need the knowledge. Nowadays, yes, we can invest in an app, but we can also sell on apps. And I said this morning on the radio program that I don't think in history for the Latino community, the last 3 months would be the equivalent of the number of success stories that we hear out of necessity, out of desperation, but people finally had time or money to do something, and that's great. But at the same time, there's the opposite side. There's no other time in history are we going to hear of people that are in bankruptcy, unemployment, and what separates these two groups of individuals is the knowledge. And I think when we look for money, ultimately we really get lost because we don't even know what to look for. So I think what you do and what I do is to educate people. I would never tell you what to sell, just like you would never tell somebody what stock to buy, because there's so much, factors and criteria. And I think that the group that's with us finally can see that. But what I love about what we teach is that it takes very little to get started. And I think that if we are willing to pay the price to teach ourselves and we're willing to expose ourselves, I think many times we're so scared to lose money, but every time we pay our cell phone bill, we lose money. Every time we go out and buy Starbucks, we lose money and we don't think about it twice. So we teach people in steps, do this first. And sometimes we want to run, but really it's knowing, like Jonathan today, he's going to remember back, wow, when I first got started, and in a year, 2 years, 10 years from now, he's going to be looking back, well, that was nothing. It's now he's at a different level. But somebody who meets Jonathan down the road wants to mimic his success or wants to copy what he does or wants to be where he's at already. But we all start at zero. Investing starts at zero and entrepreneurship starts at zero.
And you always say, start with what is within your reach. Lo que está a tu alcance. What do you mean by that?
Ultimately, and we had a radio caller last week, Armando. He said, Carlos, I've been listening to you. I'm unemployed. So I got everything in the house and I started selling it on Facebook Marketplace. It's so easy to go around the house and to list stuff because when you invest money, you get nervous. So what if I buy this and I don't sell it? But we all got stuff in the house that we can sell. And once we lose that fear of listing something on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, Mercari is a really good app. Once we lose the fear of doing that, selling what we might think is trash and people might pay us money, then we get excited about it. Like in my app, there's a company called Steal Deal. In my app, there's a directory of places you can buy merchandise, like where Tilly's is a store, PacSun, where they buy their t-shirts. You can go and buy Nike, Adidas, Hundreds, all of these popular brands, t-shirts for $3. And it's up to you how much you sell them. Now, if you're scared of selling on Mercari, if you're scared of selling on Facebook Marketplace, you'll never do anything. But if you start selling all of your mom's stuff that she don't need,
make sure you ask before you sell it, okay?
Right? But you lose the fear. Just like I love in one of the radio programs that we did together where you were teaching people how to fake invest, with play money, right? So sell all your mom's stuff. And then when it gets to the real stuff, you sell your stuff.
Now, let me ask you something. We have several of the students that want to start selling. One of them already put it on, and it was his shin guards and his soccer stuff that is looking good, but he doesn't use anymore. And then he said, I put it up, but it didn't sell. What do you do? What do you tell somebody that says that?
Well, it's always price and it's always the neighborhood. So it's always a niche. In business, we say, know your niche and get rich quick, right? Know who your market is. Sometimes the neighborhoods, because these apps are by area. So sometimes the neighborhood, maybe they're not too athletic. Maybe they're not into sports. Maybe that's not. But in Facebook Marketplace, you can change your address. So you can list product. Maybe you live in South Central Los Angeles, but you want to sell to Newport Beach. So you can change your address so you can get new set of eyes looking at the products that you have. So it could be that in your area within a certain mile radius, they're not willing to pay for it or they're not into it. But you can expand, and definitely try Mercari, because Mercari sells to the whole nation.
So I didn't know that you could change your address. So if you change it on Facebook or you change it on just Marketplace?
Just on Marketplace. So whenever you list a product on Marketplace, you can change the area where that listing will appear.
I see. And you just go to a greener pasture.
Yes, where there's a market for that,
Tell me a little bit about how you started, and tell me what would you say to a student that now knows there's more than one way to skin the cat?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What would you say before they go back to school? You got your education at Harvard College, but
Yes.
where in Harvard College?
At the SWAT meet. I'm not the best example. I dropped out of school at the age of 13 and never went back. Now I have kids that are now 13, and of course, they're doing great at school. They're straight A students, thank God, unlike dad. I want them to go to school, but I want them to go to school with a purpose. So I look at everything as money, through money eyes. So I tell them, pick a career that eventually you can become independent. Yes, pick a career that might give you a good job, but pick a career well, eventually you can become independent and you can start your own business. Because imagine if we live a circumstance like we did. It's like you're stuck. So
for example.
Mm-hmm. So
for example, what?
My daughter says, I want to become a teacher, or I want to become a veterinarian. So I said, sweetie, become a teacher, because there's a huge market in tutoring. The market potential in tutoring, because school districts are horrible. It's just a growing, and there's so much money, especially to help kids with certain disabilities. And there's all of these teachers who have a great education, but they don't have the business knowledge. Now, if I had a teaching degree and if I had a teaching license in the state of California, I wouldn't be working at LAUSD. I would have my tutoring center. But there's an example.
I have to tell you that I have a teaching degree.
Let's put it to you.
I started teaching at LAUSD, and I am no longer teaching at LAUSD, because when you learn to be a teacher, you learn sales.
Yes.
I sold math and reading and science and spelling to those little punks that would look at me and like, I dare you, lady, to teach me something. And I did. So if you can sell that, you can sell anything, right?
Yeah.
So it really gets you ready and organized and your mental, and yet most teachers are so used to doing things by bells that they don't think outside the box, and they have it right there. They have all the skills, but they don't have, like you say, they don't have the vision.
Yeah,
whoa.
Somebody's excited. They don't have the business knowledge yet, but that's something that's acquired. And I think Latinos are very, very entrepreneurial, but unfortunately, sometimes we get stuck depending on the job, depending on that paycheck. It's easy to do. It's very easy to do because, hey, I work 40 hours and I get paid. But if I sell something on Mercari, who knows if I'm going to sell it, right? So
right.
I just launched an app here in Mexico. We're the #1 app in the beauty category in Mexico. It's just gone crazy. And my business partners or friends say, wow, it happened overnight. And I'm like, no, it's been, Julie, I showed it to you over a year ago. It's been a year of work in progress and a lot of learning, a lot of mistakes, and it finally took off. But then people say, I want to do that. I want to copy that. I want to do that right now. And it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way. We have to be willing to pay the price.
I would like to know if anybody has a question for Carlos, because this is your one chance. You guys, people would kill to have this opportunity, okay, to be able to ask Carlos questions. And this is your chance. Maria Burgos, is that your graduation cap? Did you just graduate? Oh my goodness gracious, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. That is, congratulations. Okay, Eleazar has a question for you, Carlos. Go ahead, Eleazar.
Hi, Carlos. How you doing?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah. Recently, I have started following you. I found you through Julie, but well, I appreciate you being here and giving all this advice for the kids. Well, what about any advice for people who already have existing businesses that want to take it to the next level? Expand and well, take it to the next level. I can tell you a little bit about, I have a business. We've been in business for over 13 years now. We started during the last recession. Right now we have about 100 employees, but we're at a point where the company is still growing, but we're seeing some challenges because scaling up the business, well, it's challenging, and then we're seeing a lot of competition, a lot of that. So what advice will you have?
What industry are you in?
It's a construction business.
Okay.
We,
Commercial, residential, what type of construction?
it's commercial concrete work. We do basically all concrete work for schools and restaurants and churches, warehouses, shopping centers, all of that.
You know, I think and the challenge that you're having, is it capital to take on those projects, or what's the challenge that you're having right now?
No, the challenge is the competition.
Okay, the competition.
We're at a point where, well, there are other companies that have been in business for longer and they're more well-known in the market. And we want to get into a market that it's, we want to do industrial warehouses. We do a lot of, I don't know if you're familiar with terminology of concrete, but tilt wall projects. These big warehouses that are 100, 200, 300,000 square feet buildings. We want to get into those, and we see that, okay, at first our prices were higher. We already worked on that. Now the price is there where it needs to be. But the competition, because they've been in business for longer, developers, general contractors, they know these businesses better, that they feel more confident going with one of those companies instead of us.
Perfect. So, you know, as you know, with any business, it's always a relationship business, and it's to get those type of contracts, it's always going to be word of mouth or somebody where you've already invested time and energy into a relationship, for them to give you the opportunity to bid and then ultimately give you the contract. The way you grow a business, it really is when you align yourself to an industry that is growing. So many times our competition is focused on one thing, where the money is at. You have to be, and this is what I practice in my business, you have to focus on where the money is going to be. So we know that in the next 18 months, the number of shopping centers, the number of commercial properties that are now going to have to go into residential type, because there's not going to be that much commercial. I mean, Simon Malls, I mean, they've already started redeveloping, and those are opportunities for you. So how you get your foot in the door is the way that I do it. I just got my foot in a really big door using LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a great platform where you can go directly. Now you have to be ready. I recently contacted a president of a company that I wanted to do business with, and I've been eyeing him for a while, but I didn't pull the trigger because I still wasn't selling the volume that I needed for him. If he were to say yes, he was going to say buy a lot, and I wasn't ready yet. So I was watching him. I became friends with him on LinkedIn. I liked his comments. I commented on his comments. And 8 months later, yesterday, over the weekend, I sent him a message. And today, we finally had a conversation. And it looks like we'll do business. So it's not like I'm going to pick up the phone and you're going to give me the contract. But through social media and LinkedIn, you can get direct to the line of sight of the people who make those decisions. So how solid is your LinkedIn profile?
Okay, I do have an account at LinkedIn, and to be honest, I don't use it much. I do have a lot of contacts through there from the industry that we're in. But honestly, and recently on one of your radio shows, I did see that, and it right away it clicked that, yeah, but maybe I need to do a better job with the marketing side of the company, that I think I haven't done much of that.
So there's your tip for today. I mean, there's what you can take as a takeaway for you, Eleazar, is LinkedIn. Clean it up, get it, shine it up, and start making contacts through there. So there you go. Good luck. Let's go with Carolina. Carolina, Cucuchiji. Hi, sweetheart.
Hi, Carlos. Hi, Julie. I want to thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge and your presence here today, Carlos. Well, my question is about if I already have a product, an idea, or no, not an idea, a product of a company, and I want to scale that up because I just created the product, the online site, the LLC, all that, but I'm kind of stuck there. My situation also has to do a lot with that because the product is a natural product, like a balm made with organic oils and flowers and essential oils, all that. And it's for healing the skin, okay? So it's like a multi-purpose balm that anyone could use. But I would like to, I'm not sure where I like to place it. It's not cheap because the ingredients are not cheap. And well, yes, that will be my question, like where to go now. I already created it. I have the idea, the labels, everything.
Perfect. So now you need customers. And
almost nothing.
Yeah, and now you need customers. Now I build and I teach people how to build businesses the other way around. Traditional business teaches you your LLC, your corporation, and this and that. Because I dropped out of school at the age of 14, I'm very, very simple. I go backwards.
And I studied international business, so I'm doing it, all the steps.
Right, and but unfortunately, that takes time, energy, and effort. And sometimes you end up where you're at now. Like, and that's what I want all of the kids that are, because the majority are young, to not to think that they need to do this whole structure, right? So what we need to do is to position ourselves. So this is the way that I launch any product, any company. I create the demand first. So if I want to launch a cosmetic, if I want to launch a lip balm, I'm going to sell Burt's Bees. I'm going to sell whatever product I can get that's similar to mine, and I'm going to get clients. Because when you have clients, then you do what Costco does. Costco's #1 brand is Kirkland. And their #1 profit margin is Kirkland, their own brand. But they sell everybody else's brand. Target did the exact same thing. Target used to sell Massimo, Wrangler, all of these brands. Target took out all of the brands of clothing, and all the brands that they have now are their own. Because first you start selling. So, and I'm going to answer your question, but I want to help everybody else who's on the call, who's on the Zoom. If you want to sell, we all have the illusion of having our own brand. But let me tell you something, the brands that I sell the most are not mine. They're other brands because they have bigger advertising budgets. So no matter if I sell shoes, everybody's going to want Nikes. But if I have enough clientele that buys Nikes from me, eventually I can sell them my version of Nikes or my new or better improved version.
Patito.
Marca Patito. And Julie's been with me to China, and she's seen, the moment they put the Nike logo, the moment they put that fancy logo, it costs a lot more. So start by selling what already exists. Get to know why people want it. Get to find out, what they prefer, what you could improve. And then little by little, you start developing your own market. Okay, so back to your question. Do you have stock? Do you have inventory of your product?
Yes, but it's a small stock because I go little by little. I'm not going to, because I make it myself. So I order the containers, the labels in small quantities because, you know, I don't want to, and I live in an apartment, so I cannot take that much.
Well, that's how everybody starts. So congratulations, good to you. Everybody starts that way, so that's no problem. So you need to create raving fans. So, I mean, have you has subido un video? Have you, Julie, could you forget I forgot how to speak English?
Yes, you're so used to
Made a
doing it
video?
in Spanish.
Have you put up a YouTube video talking about your ingredients and why you did it and how you did it?
No, I have
Start educating your
Instagram
audience.
account. Sorry?
Well, right here you have like 200 people who would love to know why your product is so much better than Burt's Bees, right? So you have to start by sharing. Hola, ¿qué tal? Hi, this is Carlos. I want to talk to you today about my formulation and so forth. And always the benefits and not really selling. But I'm going to give you an example. I interviewed her a couple of weeks ago. Her company is VS, as in Victor Sam, VS CBD. She sells a bunch of CBD products, but she's the image of her own brand and she's not famous. But she has people who she identifies with because she has neck problems and she has locked jaw, and that's how she discovered CBD. Her CBD is not the best and it's probably not the most potent, but she's the only one who has that story. So you have a story. You just got to communicate that story to enough people, and eventually you're going to have customers, right? And it's not about a famous Facebook ad. It's not, you know, paying publicity. It's really getting out there and exposing yourself.
Another question, somebody's asking, what do you think about MLMS? You know, the multi-level marketing.
Yeah, those are the fake businesses. Never, Julie, I don't know. I know you follow the magazine. I've never seen on Forbes the top 100 business people ever be a multi-level marketer. So multi-level marketing, I don't believe in it.
What about Jafra and Avon and Amway and all of that?
They're not really. Jafra is not a multi-level marketing. They sell by catalog. So, you know, that's a good way. In Mexico, there's called Andrea. They sell bedspreads. You buy a catalog and you buy it. So, it's, you know, it's a good way to showcase merchandise. But anywhere where you got to convince people to join so that you and I are going to get more people to join and we're going to make more money, you know, that usually doesn't work out.
So you have, let me just ask, Kevin, can you hear me? Do you have a question for Carlos?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to know, Kevin, I don't know if you can unmute yourself or how this works, but if you could, do you have a question? If you wanted to be in business for yourself, how do you see yourself, or what questions would you have for Carlos? Have you ever seen yourself as being in business for yourself?
No.
No? You've always thought of yourself as working for somebody else?
No.
How do you see yourself when you grow up? What do you want to do for a living?
Playing soccer.
Play soccer, okay? And you, Kevin, you're the person that put up the soccer gear, right?
Yes.
So you want to be a soccer player, but there are many parts of soccer that have to do with business other than just kicking the ball and hitting it with your head. So you have a young man, and I tell you, Carlos, here is Kevin. I want you to take Kevin and make him an apprentice so that he can learn what you learned over the past 20 years. Kevin, I want you to pay attention because you're going to hear from the master. How would you start?
Kevin, how old are you?
9.
You're 9. My God, I started when I was 13. He's so young. So you're going to have a huge head start. You know, Julie, I think that I can speak for myself. You know, I have kids who are now a little bit older than Kevin. But I think once you really identify, and it's hard, this is going to be tough because he's 9 years old, but it's really, when I discovered at the age of 13 that certain people live better than my mom and dad, and my mom and dad worked so hard, and they worked at restaurants and they made such little money. When I saw that other people live better than we do, I was determined to make sure that my parents can get to live that lifestyle. So it wasn't about having fun. It wasn't about making money. I made my first $1 million when I was 21, and I blew it at 21 and a half. But, you know.
That's because you didn't know me then.
Didn't know Julie then, right? You know, the good thing about making it once, you can make it again. But that's what the main motivation. So I look at my kids, and they don't have that motivation because they live a different lifestyle now. You know, now they say dad lives fancy. You know, they're here in Mexico City with me. Like, dad, you live too fancy. And I'm like, well, I worked hard for it, but it's getting to know and getting to be brave enough, Kevin, to really say what you want. Not, you know, yes, having fun, playing ball, you're so young, but for everybody on the call, it's exposing yourself, being vulnerable to the point where this is what I want and I don't care. I was so criticized because I sold makeup. I was so criticized because I sold at a SWAT meet. I was made fun of, but I know
Let's talk about your weight.
Yeah, I was 490 pounds. You know, I had Bugs Bunny teeth. You know, everything that was wrong with me could have been wrong with me, right? So, but yeah, I think for Kevin, he's a little bit young, but start practicing from now. Start declaring what you want without caring what other people are going to say. Even if you change your mind tomorrow, I mean, this is what I want. Well, how are you going to do it? Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out, right? So that goes for everybody, because I think sometimes when we want something that the people around us haven't achieved, it's so hard for them to support us or for them to tell us what to do. So I was the first business owner in my family, and when I started a business, everybody said I was crazy. It wasn't going to work. I moved to Mexico to establish a new business, and I've been here for 3 years. And everybody said I was crazy. Well, why was I going to do that? But you know, it's going against the flow, Kevin. So see what everybody else is doing and do your own thing.
So now I'm going to ask you again, Kevin, because you and I go back a long way.
Oh, my.
What do you want to do when you grow up? Have it come from your gut. How do you see yourself?
I want to make a business that sells soccer stuff.
Okay. So you don't want to hear the people cheering and you're kicking the ball and you made the goal and you're going like this and you're running and rubbing somebody's head like that or anything, right?
Yeah.
Well, how do you see yourself as the one with the store come on in, this is the gift shop, and they start lining your pockets?
Yes.
That's what you want to see. Good for you. Okay, so if he wants to do that, Carlos, what's a good place to start?
Well, definitely, I think we can support any kid, and I believe this, because you've been with me to those huge warehouses, and there's warehouses where they sell this stuff wholesale. So it's for a kid who wants to do that, that's like Disneyland. So if you go to a warehouse where you see where they sell all of this stuff, it starts giving you different ideas, right? So definitely, I give me his information, and I can send him a contact where his dad can take him to where he can see where they sell all this stuff, and where he sees it not as a consumer, where he sees it as a business person. Because the first shock is, oh my gosh, this is really only $5, but it's $25 at the soccer store, right? So once you start seeing that you can make money selling something that you're passionate about, well, that's exciting, you know, and it motivates.
Felix is your dad, right, Kevin? Is he there? Will you take him to a place like that if Carlos sends you the information?
Sí, claro, con gusto lo voy a...
Ok, por favor, ¿me puedes mandar un correo electrónico a tudineroconjulie@gmail? Y yo se lo mando a Carlos, y Carlos tiene todas las conexiones para que tú puedas llevar a Kevin a que él vea dónde puede conseguir las cosas bien baratas, porque tal vez a Kevin no le llame tanto la atención vender un par de cosas que ya él usó, pero cuando él vea las cosas que él ve en la tienda más caras y que a él le cuestan bien baratas, tal vez se le encienda la llama.
Yeah.
Okay?
They start coming up with their own pricing.
Okay, Kevin. So we're going to kind of show you we're going to whet your appetite and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, so good for you. Thank you for being so honest and so transparent with me. I know that I put you on the spot, but I feel, Carlos, we've been together here. This group and I have been, and we have shared stories. We have shared dreams and wishes and everything, frustrations. So this is why I feel that this is such a good culmination. Is because with you, I want them to spill their guts out. So if you're willing to spill your guts out and just tell us without anything, we want to hear it. Josefina, you're next, mi cielo. So please unmute yourself.
Hi, Carlos. ¿Cómo estás? How are
Hi.
you? I want your advice. I had more than 30 years experience in imports and exports and logistics in the garment industry. From my age 60s, they don't want to give me a job. Anything I can do with my experience.
Well, it goes back, and I hate to repeat it, but LinkedIn is where you're going to get, and there's actually, it's not only the power of LinkedIn, there's a whole statistic that came out last week where, Julie, traditional sales, like picking up the phone and calling people, is going to go back to normal. Because people are networking less, people are no longer out and about. So now people with your skill set and picking up the phone and expanding your connections on LinkedIn is gonna give you that job. And the knowledge that you have, don't even look for a job. Become a freelancer. There's a lot of companies that might be willing to give you a contract for 3 months. A lot of companies are not gonna be hiring, but hey, maybe you can get a 90-day contract. The whole digital agency aspect of business, that's happening on, and I'm sure it's going to happen to your business. So you said garment, that's a specialty. That's great, right? So there's going to be an abundance of clothing that's going to be headed outside of the United States. And whoever knows how to take the clothing into Mexico can make a lot of money. Because
how does she take the clothing into Mexico? Are you interested in that, Josefina?
Oh, yes, my experience.
Okay,
that's her
go for it.
That's her experience.
Oh, that's
But
her experience.
That's her experience. She needs to communicate that on así como chismeamos en Facebook and YouTube and whatever, she needs to grow a presence on LinkedIn, right? And I know we want everything we publish to be perfect, but you need to grow. You need to expand your contacts, right? And expand your contacts. And you know what I would post once a week? Thank you so much for your job offers. I remind you all, currently working by contract only.
Oh, God.
Right?
You fake it till you make it, honey.
You make it. Well, I wanted to give you a job, but how much would you charge me for a 3-month contract? Well, well, how much is your job, right? So I love what we're living in, and I've done several programs when we've talked about LinkedIn, because the Latinos are a minority on LinkedIn. We're so used to llenar la aplicación. We're so used to knocking on the door and filling out that paper application, but it's evolved. And also update your profile on LinkedIn with all of your skill sets, your knowledge, because you're going to be approached by headhunters, people who will help you look for a job, and they're going to charge the company to give you a job there. But there's more ways now than ever before to expand our opportunities for getting a job. So LinkedIn.
Thank you, Carlos.
LinkedIn.
Okay, I have a question here on the chat. My name is Jake. I am 13 years old and I help my grandma at flea markets. I was wondering if I can get information on where to get cheap items to resell, please, and thank you.
Beautiful, Jake. So download my app, Carlos Marquez, my name, and there's a button there that says Mayoristas. Mayoristas means wholesalers. Definitely check out Steel Deal. Julie's been there with me. It's where they have all the crazy skateboards and everything, Julie. But they have a lot of name brand clothing. That's a really good place to go to. And if you're selling at flea market, people want inexpensive stuff. There's a place there called Frontier Sunglasses. They sell awesome sunglasses for $2, $3 a pair that you can mark up and make more. So there's a whole list that we update every month. But Frontier Sunglasses, that's really good because they sell themselves. And then Steel Deal has really good selection for young, for a younger type market. And we always update it, but download it and you'll be able to take a peek there.
Wonderful. Okay, let's see who else here.
We have a couple questions in chat that
go
are
ahead,
fairly
go
far
ahead.
back. So one of them, she has a question for Carlos. Estoy motivada en empezar a vender online, pues mi trabajo no es seguro. No tengo experiencia en este campo, pero escuché en sus programas de radio Fórmula que en Boxplan lo llevan de la mano, no se llevan de la mano a personas de nivel kindergarten. Gracias.
Wow, first time I hear Kira speak Spanish. I love it.
Oh, Kira?
I just don't speak it very often.
Good for you.
Good. Well, you'll do the radio show one day, Julie, and I can't. There you go. So, yes. So start with, I suggest, yes, Box Glam is excellent because they send you a selection of merchandise and you go out and sell. But makeup is not for everybody. Start selling what you have at your house because there's no stress. When you invest in merchandise, there's that stress. What's going to happen if I don't sell it? And it's sitting in your living room. Now I have a grandmother, Alma Martinez from New Jersey. She sells $3,000. She buys $3,000 a month worth of products. And I forgot how much she sells. She does great, but not everybody is an Alma Martinez, but she's figured it out. But she started selling all of her stuff that she had at her house because they shut off her electricity. She had no money. So she heard me, she goes, oh my God, what am I gonna do? She started selling on Facebook Marketplace and one thing led to another. Once you figure out that, hey, that old thing sold, then you get inspired or motivated to start selling other things. Box Glam is, they send you a box full of cosmetics. This month's box was over $1,000 worth of merchandise because Nordstrom canceled an order. And we were able to get a bunch of their skincare products and it was over $1,000 worth. And then, it's good because they give you the pictures and they show you, there's over like 100 hours of video that they teach you online. So that's an option, but start today. Everybody can go look around their house. And like Julie said, ask your mom first, but sell something, put something up, sell it, right? And what's the first thing that's going to sell? It's that thing you thought nobody would buy. It's always the case. It's like, who wants that, right? But that's the first thing that's sold. And the thing that you value the most is the thing that people don't really want to pay. That's also why I encourage people to sell stuff, their stuff, use stuff, because you realize that what you paid for, it's not really what it's worth. And that's a huge learning lesson.
Do you guys get that? It's like that thing that you work so hard to pay for that brand. When you go to sell it, other people aren't willing to pay for it, what you paid for it. So it makes you rethink brands, doesn't it? Okay, Kira, do you have somebody else from the chat?
I have two more questions. So Sarai asked, for example, you want to start selling something that you can make, like art or merch. How should I start distributing the idea of me providing those products? Like once I have my products I'm willing to sell, should I just list it for sale on a selling app immediately, or should I do something different?
Good question.
So everybody I suggest, and I did this on a radio show a couple of years ago, and one of them turned into a very successful business. I always say create 2 or 3 different Instagram profiles, and each Instagram profile publish stuff, not that you're going to sell, but that really inspires you. One of my friends, she started her Instagram on succulents, right? And that's all. She has over 200,000 people who follow her on succulents. So she said, Carlos, what should I do? Well, let's do a photo book so you can start selling it. So she's, that's what she wants to do. But I believe there's nothing better than to sell without having something to sell. On Instagram, there's a girl, her name is Alma's Oil Cloth. You can look for her. It's Alma's Oil Cloth. And she started publishing a bunch of stuff from Mexico just because she loved it, and she's from Mexico and she wasn't selling. And people started asking her, hey, well, how do I buy that? Where do I get that? So then it forced her to start selling it, right? But she didn't do that with that intention. She did it because she was so proud about her culture and the colors. So I think when you have a business that comes out of by accident, that's great. Also a business on purpose. So you have that idea of creating, start publishing material, not to sell, start publishing material, whether it's to document what you're doing or whether it's to raise awareness on whatever it is that you want to sell or you manufacture, right? That's the perfect indicator. When I started a business before, I had to invest so much money to see if it would even hit. Now I can create an Instagram and see if I get any likes, see if I get any traction. And if it does, then it'll turn into a brand.
Kira?
All right. So I have two more questions. One from the other Kevin. ¿Cuándo tendrás otro viaje educacional a Corea?
I retired. Julie went. Me and Julie helped me close the book on close the book on that chapter, right?
After
Julie?
he took me, he said, forget it. This is it. I can't handle anything else.
No. Yeah, I made a promise to myself that when I turned 40, I would 100% focus on my own business projects. Between 30 and 40, I sold the company that I had, and I thought I wasn't going to do anything, but I did. I did some things. When I turned 40, I decided I was going to start backing up a lot of the ideas that I had. So yeah, not anytime soon. But everything is on video. If you go on my YouTube, you can see every single day. We recorded everything. So it's documented, and you don't have to pay for it. Go there on YouTube.
How many hours do you have of video?
Oh my God, it's 3 years worth. So every year I took a camera person, and you can see me at factories. You can see me negotiating con los chinitos. You can see me buying merchandise. And I really documented it because I really wanted my kids to see it one day.
So cute.
So it's there for everybody.
The last question I've kind of answered in chat, but I can also say it. My daughter started a small business selling jewelry during the pandemic, and she has been doing extremely well. Does Carlos know anywhere that she could get jewelry in bulk for cheap? I have some stuff, but I also was going to recommend Fire Mountain Gems for raw materials.
Yeah. So is it fine jewelry or is it just fashion jewelry? That's a good question. I don't know.
Custom jewelry, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. So in LA, there's RJ Imports. RJ Imports is they sell like the jewelry that you would buy at Claire's. RJ Imports, and then there's another one called LB, like Long Beach, but it doesn't stand for Long Beach. It's LB, B as in boy, jewelry on Main Street in Los Angeles. You can Google them, and they come up, and you can say Carlos sent you to them. But LB has higher quality stuff, a little bit more expensive. RJ Imports is really like Claire's or like Forever 21 type jewelry. But there's that success story, Origami Owl. It's a girl who started when she was 17 years old, and her company is worth $200 million, and she's not even 21 yet. And she started selling very economical jewelry.
Somebody says, how do you know when the market is saturated?
When everybody's selling it.
And you're not.
When everybody, it's like you said the same thing. The worst time to buy was when everybody's trying to buy, right? So there's one thing that my own business, I avoid trends. I do not buy trends. I do not sell trends. I stay away from trends because you'll get stuck holding it, you know, and that's why Ross exists. Ross exists because Macy's, with all of that knowledge, till this day, cannot make educated guesses when it comes to buying merchandise. And Ross gladly buys everything up and sells it at a discount. So I stick to the ABCs. You know, Costco is a great example. Costco doesn't have high fashion. Costco doesn't have the latest and greatest, but Costco has temporadas. So I rather go for, how would you say temporadas in Spanish, Julie?
Seasons.
Seasons, the seasons. So I go for seasons. So I sell seasons rather than sell trends, because trends, it'll go out of style and you'll get stuck with it. And you know, seasons, you just gotta wait a couple of seasons and it'll get back. Your Christmas lights will sell.
And that's what Maria Tovar says. Siempre dice, Carlos, es mejor vender por temporada. See, your students are listening to you.
So it's always the best because you get stuck with merchandise and nobody wants to get stuck with money, not moving.
All right, one last question in chat for right now. Me gustaría saber cómo puedo empezar un negocio o abrir un grupo para ayudar a personas en el área de mantenimiento general.
Mantenimiento, ajá.
Yeah, como por ejemplo, cómo destapar una plomería, cómo hacer trabajo de pintura, cómo reemplazar las chapas de la puerta, cómo mejorar la fachada de una pared, etc. Actualmente trabajo como property manager, pero me encanta aprender y mira que he aprendido en este negocio.
Perfect. So what is the question, Julie? What did he ask?
He wants to learn how to teach people how to fix things, right? Kira?
Would seem that way, yes.
Okay, so how do you have a business teaching people just how to fix things?
Right. Well, so, being a handyman, there's no certification, so that's something that you can teach. Now, I see a lot of people really wanting to teach, and probably the least paying thing that we can do nowadays sometimes is teach. I would say to make sure his financials are a-okay before you spend so much time trying to teach others, right? I see that all the time. People like, oh, I want to teach. Okay, but you know, are you okay financially to do that? And if he is okay financially to do that, you know, number one, there are grants that are available by counties. Right now, it's tough times, but that allow you to become a journeyman, a handyman. Look for the nearest vocational school near you and see what they have to offer and see if you can be part of their training program as an instructor. That's a great way to get the foot in the door. And yes, you can sell courses. And if you're going to sell courses, definitely sell them online rather than one-to-one, because I think that online is the future.
Carlos, I'm going to let you go, but not before you give us some gold nuggets. I want you to give us some websites, give us some places, give us some ahas that people will say, wow, this is gold, what he's just giving me right now.
So the number one, before you ever decide to sell anything, you have to make sure there is a profit margin. A lot of people will tell me, oh, I want to sell this. Okay, you can sell it. I'm going to give you an example. What makes Best Buy more money? Selling that big screen or selling the $50 HDMI cable? They sell the HDMI cables because that makes them more money than actually selling that damn TV. So the number one is we have tools now. You have Alibaba. Alibaba allows you to source product to see, well, I want to sell this. Well, realize that the brand makes something cost a lot of money, so you have to adjust your price for that. But I use Alibaba. If I want to launch something, if I want to sell something, even though I have employees in China, I go to Alibaba because it's faster than talking to them. And I'll see, well, this is how much it costs to make, or this is how much they're selling it. So I make sure there's a profit margin. So we all have great ideas. I have warehouses full of products that we sell that I have no idea what they're used for. And so don't fall in love with what you're selling. It's great when you can fall in love with what you're selling, but you got to make sure that there's money in what you're going to sell. You know, maybe there's not a lot of profit selling soccer gear. You know, I don't know. So you have to make sure it's worth your while. Number
And when
two,
you say a lot of profit, what is it? How much profit should you look at least times 3?
I always, if I invest $1, I need to get 3 back. That's my rule. And of course, I mean, you've been to China. There's stuff that you can multiply by 10, you know, and the nicer your brand is, the more you invest in branding, the more the perceived value it is. And the second nugget I would give everybody on the call is I'm not in love with selling. I'm not in love with the products that I sell. I'm in love with business. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of falling in love with the restaurant. I want to have my own boutique. I really want to have my own boutique. Okay, well, you know, that doesn't really work sometimes. I love business. So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm thinking not how to, you know, recreate the world, but I'm always thinking about what's the next app that I'm going to launch? What's the next platform that I'm going to do? And using what I already have, right? And number 3, start with what you have. There's a 10 episode series on YouTube called MARQ, M-A-R-Q, Create Tu Marca, where it shows you, it doesn't matter. My employees might think I'm cheap, but till this day, every single project that I start it like if I had no money. Because that's the only way that I know how to make money, without any money. And you can see when I started my agency here in Mexico City, Julie says I'm cheap, but yeah, I am cheap. But I got that my first office was a hole in the wall where the realtor did not want to show it to me. She goes, oh no, that place is horrible. But that's the one that I ended up getting. And I said, no, my business has to finance my next step. If I'm always waiting to have money, waiting to get that loan, no, my business has to finance my next step. And why I say that is because sometimes I think we stall or we wait to have money so that one day we do something. And I think the people who, you know, could withstand the drought, could withstand a bad economy, who could withstand a recession, is somebody who's not dependent on a third person. I'm dependent. You can take away everything, and I have lost everything at one point in my life due to employee theft, and I got some of it back, but it was a horrible time. And I remember one of my friends told me, I'm not worried about you, Carlos, because you did it once and you'll do it again. And I said, well, it's no fun trying to do it again. But yes, if everything goes bad, nobody's going to take away the knowledge that you gained during these 40 lessons. Nobody's going to take away the knowledge that you'll gain starting to sell with what you have. Nobody's going to take that away. You know, the world could take a dump, but people are still going to buy stuff. The economy, that's how it works. People buy stuff, and people work to buy stuff.
Carlos, thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough for giving us a little piece of you and your passion, and it's obvious. So everybody, please follow him, because you are going to learn lessons that nobody is going to teach you from somebody who's done it and who's teaching you how to do it. Bueno, barato y bonito, okay? Not the gringo way, you guys. This is how we do it. This is how it works. And this is how you can make it into the big leagues. Carlos, thank you, mi amor, so much. I love you. Thank you.
Jonathan. And thank you all. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Carlos. Great to see you, and thank you for joining us for the class today. It's so great to hear from you.
I'm going to go cook dinner now for my kids.
You go, honey. You go. Good for you. Bye-bye. All right. And now I would love to turn the meeting over to Jonathan, because Jonathan has something to share with us.
I do. So,
Your birthday boy.
okay, not my birthday, but the birth of
You
Sectors
gave
Made
birth.
Simple today. Sectors Made Simple is now for sale. It is available at sectorsmadesimple.com, and it is available to everyone and anyone that wants to join us and help make investing easier. Join the conversation, and we'll have plenty more webinars like this class series as part of your subscription there. So if you want to continue learning more about how point and figure and relative strength can be used and how we can use the matrix to then make investment decisions, come join the conversation over at sectorsmadesimple.com, and I'm very excited that we can finally share this with you. So,
And also we have a group. Kira has formed a group for us in Facebook. So if you go to Facebook, Julie Stavink, there is, and go into groups, and then that's as far as I can take them, Kira, because I don't know what to do after that. How do they join the group?
I have posted the link in the chat several times. I will post it again.
Oh, okay.
But as you request to join the group, I will be approving you. I will be approving you as members, and there you will be able to freely chat with people, make posts. Just stay in touch.
Okay, and that way we can all keep in touch. We can decide to do crazy things that we want to do. You can share ideas, and we can have meetings among ourselves. Kevin Cruz, as soon as you go to that place that Carlos is going to send you, I would love to hear from you to see what you found and what you think. Okay? All right. I love it. So I don't know what else. I hate goodbyes. This cannot be a goodbye. This has to be a see you later. You have all maybe started something. We're going to definitely continue. I am not done. I am not done by any means. So I encourage you all to follow your dream and to do what you want to do. And Jonathan, to you, all I have to tell you is I know how much work and effort you've put into this. I know that it is not the money that has excited you, but the fact that you're offering a tool that can help someone else make money so they don't have to worry about money. And that is the greatest gift we can give somebody, is to give them the ability to create their own destiny, to create their own money without having to wait for somebody to hand it to them as charity or to do them a favor and employ them. Remember, if you don't put your efforts into creating your dream, you're going to find somebody who's willing to employ you to create theirs. So I want you to create your dreams. And Jonathan, God bless you. Kira, God bless you. Thank you for sharing this journey. And all of you have been so incredible. Thank you for putting up with us and our craziness. And please go to Facebook, Julie Stavink, and let's stay in touch. And you know my email. You go to Sectors Made Simple. You're going to be able to read all the stuff for free, to read the articles, do everything. And if you want to get in, you can have a membership. And the first 7 days, if you decide it's not for you, you will get your money back. But I assure you that you're going to find treasures in there that are going to help you make money, because that is the purpose here. Save you time and make you money. So Jonathan, do you have anything to say?
I do. First off, on the classes, thank you all so much for being here. I would like to say that I did more teaching than I did learning, but I don't think that's true. I've learned so much from all of you about how I can share my information and things that I love to learn about and love to talk about, and have it be meaningful and have it be received. Because I can sit here and talk to a camera all day, but the fact that you all are here every week listening and learning and benefiting from what we have to share is a blessing. Because like my mom said, I do this because I love it. I love being able to help. I love teaching, and I love being able to provide people with information that they may not have had before, but they may not even know how to use, but we'll all work on learning how to use it together.
I'm
Oh
just sorry your
my-
grandmother is not here to watch this.
Look at this.
Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Look at this. Look at this. I love it. Oh my gosh. To make nata.
Oh my God.
You are
I'm very glad the
crazy.
camera is no longer on me.
Oh my
Um,
God. Oh, this is so incredible. Thank you so much for doing that. You are amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Lazar. Thank you, Raul. Thank you, all of you. You're the best. Kira, what do you think? What do you think, Kira? Has this
Like it?
changed your life or what?
Yeah.
Can we keep investing in the contest? Well, I don't know. It's up to you, but I think the contest is going to self-destruct on July 1st.
Contest, yeah, July 1st.
July
so the
1st is
contest is going to
self-destruct.
end, but that doesn't mean that we can't set up a fun competition for everyone in our Facebook group.
Jonathan, are you
So
crying?
maybe.
That's not easy to do.
No, but
It's my tough
thank you
one.
all so much. This has been such a blessing, and it has been a pleasure to be here with you all. And in regards to Sectors Made Simple, I encourage you all, even if you can't purchase the tool or if you don't want to at least let me know how we can improve it, because I didn't make this tool for me. I didn't make this tool to sell money or to make money. I made this tool so that people could benefit from it. So I would love to learn how we can serve you better, make this tool better for you, and help make investing and saving money and being smarter money-wise that much easier. So
And when you
that's
go back to
everything for me.
school, what did you do? During the lockup, you became an investor. You went from student to investor. So
We
I
really all
hope that
did.
you say that with a lot of pride because you earned it. So an A for all of you. Thank you very much. Love you.
Thank you all so much. It's been such a pleasure, and we hope to see you for the next journey. Take care, everybody.